Let's start with a simple question, but one that's actually kind of hard to answer. Who are you really? I mean, who are you when nobody else is around?
Seriously, think about it for a second. The person you are at work, is that the same person you are with your best friends? Or with your family? Psychology basically suggests that we're all wearing a mask. And what's hiding underneath it? Well, that's where things get really fascinating.
All right, so let's jump right in. And this whole question isn't new at all. I mean, for centuries, some of the smartest people in history have been arguing about the very core of what it means to be human.
It sounds super dramatic, I know, but how you answer this really does shape just about everything. It influences how you see the world, how you treat people, even how you think society should be run. So what is it? Are we wired for kindness from the start, or is it all about looking out for number one?
And this right here is the classic showdown. You've got two philosophical heavyweights. In one corner, there's Thomas Hobbes. This guy lived through some seriously rough times, and he came away thinking that without rules, life is just, well, nasty, brutish, and short. He believed we're all just driven by self-interest and fear, and society is basically this giant cage that keeps us from tearing each other apart. Then, in the other corner, you've got Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He had a completely different take. He was like, no, we're born good. We're these noble savages, all peaceful and compassionate. It's society, with all its ideas about who owns what, that really messes us all up. So yeah, two incredibly smart thinkers, two totally opposite conclusions about who we are.
Okay, so that's the old school philosophical debate. But then science got involved. Fast forward to the 20th century and psychologists decided, hey, instead of just arguing about it, let's actually test it. And what they discovered, yeah, it was pretty disturbing.
This really kicked off with an idea from the philosopher Hannah Arendt. She was observing the trial of a high-ranking Nazi official, and she had this chilling realization. This guy wasn't some diabolical monster. He was worse. He was normal. Just a boring, everyday man who was just following orders. Her point was that evil doesn't always show up with fangs and a cape. Sometimes it's just ordinary.
And that idea directly inspired one of the most infamous experiments of all time. A psychologist named Stanley Milgram basically asked, is Arendt right? Could I take a regular person off the street, put them in a lab, and get them to do something awful just by telling them to?
The answer was a resounding, terrifying yes. A shocking 65% of the participants, and these were just normal folks who answered an ad in the newspaper, went all the way. They delivered what they believed were excruciating, possibly fatal, electric shocks to another person, all because a guy in a lab coat calmly told them to keep going.
But wait, because the story gets even darker. For a long time, people thought this was just about blind obedience, that people are sheep. But when scientists looked closer at Milgram's notes, they found something else. The people giving the shocks weren't mindless drones. They actually believed they were doing something good. The experimenter convinced them they were helping science, that their harmful actions served a noble cause. And honestly, that's a way more chilling thought than just blind obedience.
Okay, let's pivot to another huge piece of this puzzle: tribalism. Our deep-seated instinct to form groups. It's so important to understand this isn't some bug in our system. It's a core feature. For most of human history, your life literally depended on sticking with your tribe. Knowing who is us and who is them was survival 101.
And here's why that instinct is so sticky. It's baked right into our brains. We naturally cozy up to people in our in-group because it just feels right. It makes us feel safe, it makes a complicated world seem simpler, and hey, when our team wins, we feel like we won. It's a great little self-esteem boost. But there's a flip side, right? That same powerful instinct can also make us suspicious and even hostile to anyone on the outside.
So if we all have these darker potentials lurking inside us, why are most of us completely unaware of them? For that answer, we have to talk about the legendary psychologist Carl Jung.
Jung had this brilliant concept he called the persona. Think of it as your personal PR manager. It's the polished, polite, got-it-all-together version of you that you present to the world. It's the you on a first date or in a job interview. It's not necessarily fake, but it is definitely curated.
So where does all the other stuff go? The messy parts? The anger, the jealousy, the selfish thoughts? Jung said it all gets stuffed into a metaphorical bag he called the shadow. The shadow is where we hide everything we don't like about ourselves, all the parts that don't fit into that shiny persona.
This breaks it down perfectly. You have the persona, your public face, and then you have the shadow, your hidden self. But check out that last point, because it's so important. Ever met someone who just drives you absolutely crazy for no good reason? Jung would say you might be projecting.
That thing that annoys you so much about them might just be a part of your own shadow that you refuse to look at. That's a classic shadow move.
So the key thing to get here is that having a shadow doesn't mean you're a bad person. Not at all. For Jung, it's just part of the package of being human. It's completely normal. Like he said, you can't have light without a shadow. It's just how things are.
So what are we supposed to do with this information? Just throw our hands up and say, well, I guess I have a dark side, bummer. No way. Jung's whole point was that you're not supposed to destroy the shadow. The goal is to get to know it, to integrate it.
And this gets us right back to our original big question. Are we good or are we evil? The answer from modern psychology seems to be, it's not or, it's and. It's not Hobbes versus Rousseau, it's Hobbes and Rousseau. We have the capacity for both incredible kindness and, yeah, some pretty shocking cruelty, all rolled into one complex package.
So how do you actually do this? Well, it's a process, often called shadow work. Step 1, just admit it's there. Acknowledge that you have these parts you don't love. Step 2, get curious about it. Instead of judging yourself, ask, why did that make me so angry? What's this jealousy about? And step 3, the magic part, is you learn to harness that raw energy, that aggression in your shadow. If you integrate it, it can become healthy ambition and the drive to stand up for yourself.
And that, right there, is really the heart of it all. True growth, real maturity, it doesn't come from just pretending we're only made of light. It comes from having the courage to turn around, face our own darkness, and say, okay, let's talk.
Which brings us all the way back to the beginning, but with a new twist. After hearing all of this, what do you believe? Are we, deep down, fundamentally good? Or is that comfortable feeling just the mask talking? I'd love to know what you really think. Let us know your honest answer in the comments.